Hi, my name is Ron. I'm from Fo School in Frederick, Maryland. Today I'm going to do a little painting for you that we do as part of our evening class series of classes, the 2-hour hands-on workshop called Canvas and Cork. So let's do a fun little fantasy winterscape, I guess. So I'm going to start out with my 2-inch paintbrush and let's put some blue paint up here. Let's get this background going. I'm going to kind of put my dark blue through here. And this is a cobalt blue. I'm just going to tap it in, kind of brushing and dragging as I go. We're going to do the background of the sky first. I guess we'll make it more of an evening type of painting. We'll do some darker colors. Just like so. I don't know, this tap and drag sort of thing just really works pretty simple. I'm going to bring this up a little bit. Alright. Now I'm going to grab some violet. It's a deep violet, very dark violet. Put that across my top like so. Same method. Get a little heavy. Basically, it's that's a dark violet. Almost, if you don't have a dark violet, you can just take a little bit of like bright violet and mix it in with some black, a pinch of black or burnt umber to get that color. Alright, like so. I'm just going to grab some regular violet, start putting that in there like this. Little hints of it here and there. Should have just cleaning my brush out a little bit with some water. Let's bring some white down in here like this. Didn't clean it really well, and that's okay because I don't want a bright white. Kind of like working backwards. Usually I work light to dark, but today I'm going to try something a little bit different. So I had some, when I cleaned my brush, I didn't clean it out really well. I just wanted to get the bulk of the material out of it. And now I'm just going to keep grabbing some white and going back into it. Let's see here. Let's get mix some cobalt blue and white together. Kind of work that in right into here. And then back to the cobalt. Kind of finish off with that. And I'm not just putting them in rows, I'm kind of blending everything, sort of blending it all together here and there as I go. But as I see, I'm kind of coming down into the one color, going up into the other color. And clean that out really well that time. Let's go to dry brush. We can break this up even more by stippling it like so. Then alright, dry brush, we're just going to soften. But if you want to break it up even more, you can. But have a rag handy. So let's see. Let's kind of give this guy this pattern. Actually, let's pull some of this down into the other. Notice I'm kind of pulling it down irregular, like so. I don't want a straight line. I'm going to pull the dark into my light, not the other way. Not yet, anyway. And we'll go across. I put a little bit of water into my paint to soften it up. Make it a little loose so I can move it around a little bit. I don't want it too thick. Now we're going to come down here. We're just going to go back and forth with that blend a little bit. Alright. Now we can soften this whole thing out. The very light touch just going across there. Very light. Okay. That tapping sound is I have a rag over here that I'm just tapping into. I want to kind of create some texture in this a little bit. So I'm just going to tap into this, break it up. I just want it nice and soft background. But I don't want it real smoky looking or hazy or kind of foggy or cloudy. So breaking it up a little bit with this, just tapping this pouncing motion. I know it's time consuming, but it's going to give us the effect that we're looking for. The biggest thing is just move your brush around so it looks very irregular. You don't want to see patterns. Offload some of that extra paint. And I probably should have came from the bottom up, but we'll be alright. If I pull some of that darker color down there, it's not going to be a big deal. We'll deal with it. I kind of wanted to get some of this darker into this area, so I got some really fun stuff happening. So it looks like the softy, smoky colors in the background, and I got this little pockets of texture over top of it. Okay. Down here I want this to, down here I'm going to create some snow drifts. I don't want this like real textured looking. Or not textured, but don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that texture look. It's that simple. So we're going to create the effect that there's some snow drifts down here. It's going to go back into our sky. And if we want, we can soften some stuff out. I think I'm going to break some of this up a little bit. But I'm going to put a big old tree right here at some point, so I'm not too concerned about a lot of it. Okay. What else? Do we have any pink here? Yeah. So I always have two of these brushes, at least two of these brushes handy. That way I can have one for constantly a dry brush, and I have one to mix some color with. But I want a little pink in there. And I'm just going to take some red, some white, make a soft pink, and I'll put a little dab of violet in that too. Just a little bit. See, that's why I wanted to create that texture, the background, that effect. That's what I wanted that in the back. That way I can always come and just kind of tweak some more of this here and there. I'm going to put this brighter pink down towards the bottom. Just all over in this area. We put that tree in there, it's going to change things a lot, so you gotta remember there's going to be a tree over top of this, so keep that in mind. And if I want, I can always come back, soften it out with my dry brush. Or stipple it out with my dry brush, one of the two. But I want to stipple it out first, I want to break it up. So, right. Just hints of it, I don't want it to be like in my face. And every so often I go back and forth, create these little just soft areas. I don't want the texture all over the place. I don't want the soft all over the place. So I'm just going to lightly, kind of like tickling the surface of, just tickling the surface, just lightly going over it. Okay. Let's see now. Took care of that. Now let's get our 1-inch flat brush, and I guess we're gonna, I'm not gonna guess. Let's make it look like so the tree's sort of in silhouette, like it's in the front of the sun, like the sun's setting in the back way over the hill. And let's just take our black. All right, and let's start putting let's put our tree kind of like here, like in an angle, like he's been there for a while, and the wind's pushing him to the side, like so. All right, we're gonna just kind of slowly build the structure of this tree. Nothing too crazy. Make it like, I guess, if it's the winter time, it still has some leaves on it. We'll make it be a pin oak. So we'll leave it as a pin oak. And they get a little bit wider as they come down. They don't flare out like crazy. They just get a little bit wider at the base. All right. I know this is kind of a smoky gray, but my paint's still white, so I'm just going to use this as a starting point. Because they're blending in, and I can always come back and, once I'm happy with the shape, just start darkening that up a little bit. Alright, that's that. Let's see. I guess maybe come up a little bit more before we start making all this fun stuff. We'll start working on the canopy. We're going to do the branches of the structure of the canopy before we get too far into anything. And then we'll come and do our leaves. So, I don't even know if I want to keep using this brush. I don't think I do. Put it in the water. I'm going to get my little slanted brush out here. Where is she? This guy. Has a little slant to it. Nothing crazy. It's like a 3/4 inch with a chisel. Alright. Now let's put a branch. Let's put one here. I'm going to do it thin to kind of lay in the areas to see what I like, and then I can always come back and make it more pronounced. And that'll work. This will be the one. Maybe we'll put a swing on this guy here. Alright, yeah, that'll work. Let's see, and off of this we'll put we'll make this one a little heavier. We'll bring this one up like so. That works. Notice I'm coming from the center, my tree out, the trunk out, because as I go out, as I come out, I don't just stop my brush, I kind of come up, and I lift away, and that's how I can get these little branches here to start to take shape. So they look like just like a real tree. Let's put some up like so. Alright. And now we're just going to be painting some branches for a while. As many as you want, as few as you want. It's your tree. Do whatever you want. Here, let's come in this way. These things, go out and look at some real trees. Don't just try to guess. Take some pictures. If you have to, put them on your computer. Yeah. See what you like. Copy what you like. Change what you don't. Whoops. Usually my big head's in the way. I'm going to come off my trunk, watch, and pull this like that. So I kind of twisted it. It was a little wide, and I turned it as I came up. There's my... We can make these guys cross a little bit. Because if there was a real tree, they would be. Then I have to come up here and kind of thicken that up a little bit more, though, like so. Can't have that big, massive tree up there. It looks kind of weird. Being all these branches, they just kind of dance and do all this cool, fun stuff. That's your tree. All right. Remember, we're not trying to make it look like a flat tree. This tree is going to have some... Try to create the illusion it's three-dimensional, so there'd be branches going back, branches coming towards us. So they can twist and turn. They're not really twisting and turning, it's just they're going to look like they're twisting and turning because some are behind, coming forward, or creating an illusion that they're coming towards us, and some are in the back going back. So it looks like from the distance they're all intertwined dancing together, which is cool. Do whatever you want. I'm going to say that a lot. Do whatever you want. It's your painting. Have fun with it. Okay, that part is finished. Can always do more. You can put a little tree in the background if you want. I'm going to take my little guy. Here, let's put it over here. A lot of these brushes are just from the local craft store, like AC Moore Michaels. They're just for acrylic. I'm just using regular old acrylic paint, nothing fancy. And for $5, you get a little... Was it $3? You get a pack of 4 or 5 brushes. It's great to start with. Don't go out and spend a bunch of money on a lot of brushes until you're comfortable with it. If you really want to keep doing this, and like when you come here, or I provide all the brushes for you to use, and they're good quality brushes. There's nothing wrong with them. I'm going to take this branch, and I'm going to put a swing off of this guy. So what I'm going to do with this brush, because your arm is heavy. It's your arm. This brush is delicate. So, take this piece of paper. The more pressure you apply to this brush, the wider the marks get, okay? The less pressure, and I can support it if I want with my hand or put it on canvas, but the less pressure, the finer the line gets. And there's all kinds of ways you can support your hand, either on the side of if the canvas is dry, you can put it on the canvas. If it's over here, a ball stick, you can use a yardstick, whatever. Whatever you need to take the weight of your hand and support it so it's not on this brush. Because if you're trying to do this all day, or if even for a few hours, your arm's you're gonna get tired. You're gonna get wore out of support and all that. But we're pretty dry. That's why I like the acrylics for these little workshops. So let's do this and just put our swing rope on here. If we like the way, see how this rope turns out. It's okay. But I'm going to do an old time swing. I was thinking maybe a rope swing, what do you call it? Tire swing. But nah. So let's do another one here. And what's cool is we're going to put this one off of this branch. So they run parallel like railroad tracks. Don't make them too wide. But what we're going to do real quick, make it look like they're tied on there or twisted around there. So let's just kind of go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay. Now we got to swing our ropes, but we need I can't talk today. We need a board, and let's say we're going to put this board real simple. Let's do the back line first. We're going to come this way with it. Oops, a little thick, see? Come across. I'll fix it. Let's go above it. Bring it down. Bring it down. And I'll come across the front. I'm not worried about the crooked line that I just painted. It's not that big of a deal because I'm going to make it... the idea is this swing's been out here for a long time. Real long time. So it's been weather worn. It's been worn by people using it. You know, my gosh, you know, it could be at your grandparents' house, aunts and uncles. You know, your cousins used it. Your aunts and uncles might have used it. Could be at your grandparents' house. Your dad or mom might have played with it at one time. Or it just could be one way out by the river that everybody just uses. Everybody's got cool stories about it. Now I know it looks like my ropes are coming into the back of my seat. I'm not too worried about it right now. I'll fix that in a little bit when I go in to do some highlighting. And I'm not painting this real solid. I'm going to kind of leave it a little wishy-washy for right now. And the reason is I need to be able to put some shadows on this. And the reason for the shadow is I want to make it look like it's a thick board. Alright, so I'm just going to take and make my blackest black, or my darkest dark, right here. So this is going to be pretty solid compared to the rest of it. But again, I'm going to change that when I do my highlights. So I just came straight down. Alright. There. Now, clean this little guy out. Let's paint some fun little leaves. And we're going to do that. Let's start with some white. We're going back to the big paintbrush, right? What I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to tap the canvas like so, very lightly to begin with, and figure out what I like, what I don't like, and focus on what the patterns that I like, and not so much on the patterns that I don't like. And you notice I offload up here on the side. Now my head's in the way. But I wanted to paint my swing in first because I might put some, I might put some leaves down here over top of it or something. Now I know you're thinking, see, remember, three-dimensional, the tree's big, so we're going to put some, oops, I'm getting some goofy stuff I don't like. I'm hitting it straight in, too. So I'm going to begin with, watch, I'm just going to go all over this canopy first with a very light, white, very small particles, because if this is the center of the tree and we have some this way, some that way, at any point, anywhere, well, I'd say not everywhere, but pretty much anywhere, we're going to see some kind of leaf, either in the back, the front, or the sides, or in the center. So by just doing this, that's going to take care of that. And then we'll be able to come back and do the big leaves. So the outer part, or the ones that are closest to us, would be the larger ones. All right. Then I can start fiddling with various things. All right, so not too bad right there. I'm happy with most of that. And let's start focusing on some larger areas. These are going to be more clustered, or clumps, like it would be on a tree. So I'm taking the branches, and I'm going to focus on like some leaf clusters like you would see on your trees. All right. Chair starting to creak. That's what happens. As soon as you break something, it starts to make all kinds of noises. You get wore out. Alright, so now I'm just going to kind of focus out like so. I'm going to do some like frowns or semicircles down. Not too many, just a few. Okay. Let's go back to this little small pointy paintbrush. It's number 4. Number 4. Let's get some white. This is dry, so let's do this. Let's kind of hit this area right here. So it looks like the ropes are twisted. Like that. Same down here. Kind of just shows a little something, nothing crazy. Going to do the same thing on the left hand side of these ropes. Just kind of hit them with some. I'm not going to do all of it. I'm just kind of like hit. Same thing on this guy. Okay. Let's go down here to our seat. And let's start to define this a little bit. Let's go on this left-hand side and just put a little highlight. Whoops. Helps that we have some paint on there. Left-hand side. We'll come over here to the right. Now, I'm not going to go on the edge because I'm going to make it look like it's thick. Or the seat is thick. So I'm just going to come down like so. Right on the edge. So there we have our thickness. Let's come up here. Let's just kind of go across the front a little bit. And again, I'm raising it up just enough to show some thickness on the seat. Thickness? Some mass, whatever. Now down here, where these ropes come into this, I'm going to just, again, hit just like that. So now it looks like the ropes are in the center. If you want to have some fun, you could always make like the ropes are dropping down. We can do that. And I'm just going to lightly come across with a dry brush with whatever's left on here. Just like so. Just add something to it. Nothing crazy. Yeah, let's do the same to our tree. Let's put a little, I don't know, maybe it snowed last night. Let's put a little snow on here. Like so. We'll pretend it was a wet snow, driving snow. We'll think maybe it's coming from, whatever side that is. Who cares? East, west. Around here wasn't most of the storms. I guess come from the west. Unless we had nor'easter, then it's a lot of snow. Things I'm not looking forward to. So I'm just kind of hitting it, pulling it across. I want it to be irregular. Just start up here, and I want that diagonal, just so it looks like the tree's got that movement. I can just take my finger and soften it how I want. Kind of trail some off on the side there. Put some up in here, kind of play with that a little bit on the branches, whatever we want. All right. Like I said, this is a fun, easy, quick painting. You know, if we want, we can grab, I don't know, let's take some pink and white, mix it together a little bit. Just kind of come in here and add some, you know, if the sun's setting, there's going to be some pinks out there. So why not put a little reflective light in, you know, that pink's bouncing off this tree canopy. Just a little, not a lot. I'm going to stick with my clusters I already kind of created. Okay. And we could even put a pinch of purple in there if we really wanted to. Nothing says we can't. You watch that sunset and you get to see some of those beautiful pinks, purples, violets, reds. So let's just kind of put some of that in here. Why not? All right. Ooh, they're bigger ones. Look at that. Some big purple leaves still left on that guy. I didn't tap it off properly. I didn't offload my brush properly. It's all right. It's just paint. Can't make a mistake. And if we want, we can always bring a little white back into it, kind of sandwich those colors in there so it has a little depth to it. It's just a straight white, sandwiching all that color back in there. So create some depth, not a lot, just something fun. There. What else do we want to do? Maybe a snowdrift. We could throw a drift in there. Let's see. We could do that. I'm going to drop down to my little 1-inch flat brush. I'm going to take some white. I'm going to mix a very tiny, tiny, tiny bit of cobalt blue. I mean, very tiny bit. Yeah, let's put a drift. I'm going to do this a little weird. I'm going to put it here to start with. Alright, and I'm going to pull it up. Makes sense in a minute. I hope. So I'm going to pull my brush the way I want it to look like the snow's blowing or has blown. So I'm just going to be like real subtle. I'm not going to make it crazy, a lot of movement. I'm going to use the texture, the paint and the brush marks. I'm going to use the paint to create it and the brush to create a texture in my paint. So it looks like we have snowdrift. Okay. There we go. Like so. Nothing crazy, nothing radical with those. You just want that nice winter escape, relaxing. And you just gotta wonder, what's the story behind this? Is it this, the swing can't wait for spring and summer so the kids come back or the adults come back, start playing again? Easy enough. Let's come across this with some more These are different. It's kind of the same movement. You also got to know when to say enough's enough. If we want, we could put a bird in there. Raccoon, squirrel, bunny rabbit down here in the snow or something. You could put a snowman back in there if you want. But for now, that's good enough for this. Took us a little bit. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. It's real simple. It's down in the comment section, or you can leave a comment down there. And I'll see you next time. My name is Ron Lehman. I'm from the Folk School.